my name is Isabel, obviously, and I'm here today with my two partners, Babak and Stefan. I start, so I'm Isabel, as said, I'm from Metro. I present one of the three pillars of our wonderful project that we have been doing together for the past 9 or 10 months. I'm head of business innovation and customer experience at Metro AG. Before we start with virtual reality and our customer co-creation project, I would like to give you a short introduction, a very, very short introduction about the universe and the trends that Metro is actually finding itself in. We have a lot of trends that influence us every day, and there are a lot of challenges for a big group as Metro, acting in more than 25 countries all over the world. So when we look at these trends, we all know them, of course, by heart. Digitalization, urbanization, sustainability, and of course, social shifts. This makes our customers change a lot. We have omni-channel customers all over the world. No matter if it's in Germany or if it's in Russia, in China, Japan, our customers expect exactly this and all these points from us as a brand. So what can we do? We can do the best we can for our point of sales, which are still the core business that we have. Our point of sales, our stores all over the world have to change, and they change constantly to become much, 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 much better for our customers and their customer experience. So I would like to speak about no more of point of sales, but more of points of experience. And this is what we aimed for also in our wonderful project in France. So what does this have to do with VR, maybe you're asking yourself? How it started 1 year ago. Our French colleagues from Metro France came to us in Düsseldorf and said, oh, we would like to build 23 new stores, and within a super small time. So we have maximum 2.5 years. So we build one after each other. And we would like to build them not only in a very short time, but we would also like to change them significantly so that people would maybe even ask themselves, oh, is this still Metro? So the innovation value proposal from our colleagues in France was the selling area has to be so much smaller than we all know Metro. It has to be a complete hotel, restaurant, and café catering focus. So this is normally just one of our target groups. Completely different locations, completely different setup, omni-channel approach, and time efficiency, comfort, relationship building. So a lot of sometimes new things for our big group. So what does that have to do with VR? In this case, we have to transform, as said, our physical point of sale into a point of experience. What we did in our project, I would like to skip because, of course, Babak and Stefan will show you this later, but what I would like to show you right now is the opening of the store. On the left side, we see what we've built in virtual reality. On the right side, we see the recently launched store. Some things are still packed because it's just opened like some days ago, and I directly flew to France to have a check on it. What we did was really we built up the complete store in virtual reality until the last product in the shelf, and tested it together with our customers, our most important stakeholders. But of course, the two sirs next to me will speak more about that. But what we see here, and this is what I would like to say at this point as a representative from Metro AG, is that designing, testing, iterating, and improving in virtual reality is not only very much fun, and it's not only super motivating for our customers and very binding to the brand Metro, but it is also time-saving and it's money-saving. We were able to save a lot of building money by cutting mistakes from our architectural plans, by designing it in virtual reality, by testing it, and by making it better even before the store is really built. So we were able to get the relevant feedback from our stakeholders, of the colleagues, of the management, of the board members, of course, but most of all from the customers. The customers that will come on a daily basis to Metro and shop there. Their feedback is the most important. And we were able to iterately change within a very short time. Stefan will speak about it just after us. And we were able to improve the store format in a very short way. As I said, economical, time efficient, and trend setting. And when we speak about trend setting, I would like to say thank you and hand over to these two trend setting guys. Babak, you had to take over.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. I'm Babak from Futurest. Maybe one or two words about what we do. We actually help our customers to develop new products and services, and we truly believe to understand the future, you need to experience it. You need to feel how it looks and how it feels like. So that's why it's obvious that mixed reality can help here a lot. Maybe one or two examples of our things we do. I don't want to go into that in detail, but one example we did last year, also for Metro, was delivery testing with autonomous driving little robots developed by Starship Technologies to test how we can do same-day delivery with that. Our approach is actually quite common. We use design thinking and iterative methods. We have a holistic approach to bring both sides together, and we try to build up all the ideas people have in mind to see, to develop it in an iterative way to come to the best solution before bringing it to the market. So the whole story begins like a little bit more than 2.5 years ago. Since some years, the classical retailers are building up omni-channel stores. Also Amazon is now starting with that. Also pure onliners are doing that. We're kind of bring together the best of two worlds. So this was our starting point where we supported Media Saturn and Metro to develop a new omni-channel store for Saturn. We had the best of two worlds. You have you can experience all the products like a VR device here. You have all the services, but you can also actually order everything Saturn has from this specific store. The only problem was we started with a pilot store, and to do all the iterative steps, it took many months because obviously a store is a brick and mortar product, and so we thought how we can do it in a different way, and that's where virtual reality comes into the game. So with the next project developing omni-channel stores for Metro, we did user testing and human-centered development using virtual reality. Here you can see the process. So the beginning is to collect all the information we had from the Metro, everything which was on the concept. We had to put everything to visualize a customer journey map, because you have to build it in Unity, and if you have to build it in Unity, Stefan would be asking a lot of questions, what the people are doing. And even though things people are doing in the store are known since 40 years, they're not documented in a way which it could be directly used. So we had to put it all in a journey map. Then we started with the development of virtual reality, where the technical development was done by Stefan from 42DP. And in the same time, we did research design, what we want to ask the user and the customer. Then we did the tests, the interviews. We came back with all our findings and insights, and with that, and together with Metro, we developed the final design, which is now launched. That was what you saw from Isabel. Here you can see the journey map, so it's quite complicated and fancy, even though that what people are doing, you think it's well known. Here you can see the construction work. It helps a lot to visualize the store. So if someone from management says, I want to have the entrance area like kind of new and fancy, so what does it mean? Which colors should be used? Which materials should be used? And taking people in this process step by step helps a lot to have the communication within the development team. And things like that was found out quite quickly. So we had all the construction plans from the architects, and we had the shelves which were ordered. Stefan put them together in VR, and we easily find out that it simply don't fit, and we need another system. The user research process was like taking real customers, bringing them to a room where we had all this virtual reality setting. They signed NDAs because the store wasn't launched at that time, and we took them through the VR experience and doing two things: doing interviews, so asking them questions about general things related to emotional part of the game, and of course gathering data around that for the analysis. And that's how the mission, the testing process looked like from the user point of view. And here you can see the outtakes on both sides. So what we could do on one hand is that we could gather a lot of soft facts, which the user and customer told us about what they think about the store. If they think it looks like a Metro store, do they recognize the store? What they think about the new colors and furnitures and things like that. But at the same time, on the right side, you see a heat map. We could do data analysis to find out how people use services. Here we are at the starting point, so we see that we actually need a lot more data to be able to do real data analysis on that, but still there were a lot of insights we took from that. So now we'll hand over to Stefan, who will describe the whole thing from the development point of view.
Okay. So hi, my name is Stefan Klefisch. I'm co-founder of 42DP Labs, and we took part of the development process in this project, and I will give you a short overview of the technical aspects and some insights from the live testing. So what we want to highlight is the planning, building, and testing, and what we took out of it, the learnings from having such a VR project, and try to help user research with VR technologies. So in the planning phase, first we thought about the hardware. As a matter of fact, we are Kickstarters from the Oculus project, and so we had the most experience with Oculus, so it was not so hard to figure out that great tool, and also the portability was great because we had to travel from Cologne to France many times, so we could take all the setup. In our case, it was 2 sensors, and at first we tried to have the interactions just with the remote control, but later on we switched to the Xbox One controller because we needed some more interactions, and you will see later there are some scenarios when people must sit down rather than standing, then it's good to have such a controller. So the engine behind all of this is Unity. We did a lot of Unity projects in the last 5 to 6 years, so we had a lot of experience, and it was quite a good workflow with all the artists and the programmers on our side. So first we started off with some prototyping. As you can see here, there is not really a store to see, but we had one of the stakeholders in our office, and we tried to figure out what is the best way to interact with objects. Here, no shopping items, just some Smurfs, because it was such an early phase. So after the prototyping phase, it was very agile. We tried to have 2-week sprints, and then the stakeholders came to our office and we iterated over this. You could see this in Babak's slides. So the production pipelines, Metro delivered some CAD data. For some of you which worked with CAD data and tried to have this in real-time scenarios like VR, they are totally unoptimized, so you must have some artists or some tools depending on the complexity of the models, and then try to import it in Unity. The same was for having the shopping items. The stakeholders in France took many photos because we wanted to show the real products. This was kind of the quest the people had to finish, and so it was taking the photos, modeling the products in cinema, and then importing all the products. I think it was just around 3,000 products which were imported. So here it's the first, I think the first on-site meeting we had in France, in Paris. And what we try to do is bring in the stakeholders and try to reconfigure the store. Because what you see is some of the stakeholders was not so keen about the placement of some cashiers. So we had some live coding and switched the positions and rotated the placement of the 3D models to fit the real world or the wish of the customers. After we had some stage of layout of the store and all the product placements, we implemented some simulation for products. Some of you may have experienced that reading text on VR devices is not the best experience. So we just had the displays as a kind of a trigger, and then we popped up a large layover with the screens, and then you could click through it and have some simple interactions with it to test new product ordering systems or something like that. So as a matter of gamification, we just had a small quest. So if you start putting on the glasses in the test scenario, you saw a list of product items you have to collect. And then next step is to try to show the progress of the collection and the time. And in the end, there was some result page where you could see, okay, I took, in this case, 6 minutes. I think that was some of our test cases, because I think in the real scenario it was around about 20 minutes to collect all the items. And yeah, that was the question, progress, and result scenario. So here you can see the different stages from only the first row, the early imports, having a rough layout, to later on having all the new technologies and all the product placements here in the store. So the live testing, as you can imagine, having many VR untrained persons in a live test, it's quite interesting how they react. So first we thought of, we have a standing experience, but when we did the first prototypes, it was clear we have to think about some sitting experience, because some people were kind of confused. The locomotion system was real walking and not some teleportation, because we needed to track all the data. And yeah, we have even had some motion sickness. In this cases, we had some guided tours. So we put off the glasses from the test person, put it on, and from one of our team members, and then had a guided tour. So the interviews behind the VR experience could still be done with input from the VR. And this is what we logged. So behind the scenes, when the test persons run through the store, we tracked all the directions and the shopping orders and general explorations of the store. And now you can see, if you map all these data together, there are some points like the one on the bottom, it shows some kind of a funnel. So maybe this is a good place to drop some advertisement. So every one of the persons had to go through this side of the area. And you can see some blank spots that are corridors which didn't have exploration, and maybe some confusion was going on at the top. So maybe this is kind of a hint that people didn't know how to react or what's the next thing to do. So the learnings at the end, we got everything from confused to overwhelmed. It was a very good tool for faster decision making, especially in the prototyping phase. The spatial representations of the products just worked fine. And yeah, you will have motion signals no matter what. And if you plan something else, something like this, you definitely should think about some alternatives from just a standing experience and try to handle this correct. So that's the end. I hope it was okay. If there are any questions, I think we are around.
And if you want to have a walkthrough through the store, we have portable virtual reality devices with us. Just ask us, and you can have a look for yourself.